Hey guys, welcome to the 4th episode of Stay Nerdy, my friends. Today I'm going to answer all of your questions about why Pluto is not a planet. So first, I'm going to answer your questions about why Pluto is no longer a planet. So Pluto was discovered in 1930, and it was really important to Americans because it was the first planet ever discovered by an American. So it kind of put America on the map as far as astrophysics goes. Now, what's really interesting about this is that even at the time, astronomers were questioning Pluto's validity as a planet, because it looked kind of small, but they had no idea how small. The way that they figured out how absolutely minuscule Pluto is they looked at its largest moon, Charon, or Charon, depending on where in the world you are, and they figured out that it was approximately 0.0021 times the size of Earth. So that's really tiny. Well then, with that as a frame of reference, they could look at how Charon orbited around Pluto. What they found out is that Pluto was approximately 2,300 kilometers around, or approximately 1,500 miles across. Now, that may sound kind of big, but to give you a frame of reference, going coast to coast in America is approximately 3,000 miles. So, Pluto and its moon, Charon, would fit inside of the continental U.S. with plenty of space to spare. That's how small it is. Also, Pluto is approximately 50% ice, which means that if you put Pluto where Mercury is, it would be half the size that it is now because all that ice would melt. Kind of lame, right? Now, the first organization to question Pluto's validity as a planet was the Hayden Planetarium. Most notable out of all of these astronomers and astrophysicists was a personal role model of mine, and one of the people who inspired me to make this show with his talk about scientific literacy, Neil deGrasse Tyson. For those of you who don't know what he looks like, this is him. For those of you who are computer savvy, you'll recognize him as the "we got a badass over here" meme. I'll put one of those in here as well. Now, what's really awesome about how the Hayden Planetarium approached telling people that Pluto wasn't a planet is how unsubtle they were about it. What they did was when they put stuff up in the planetarium, Pluto was completely gone from the list of planets, and when people started asking them questions, they said, well, Pluto does not behave as a planet, and it doesn't look like a planet, so it's not a planet. And I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's basically what they said. They also pointed out that Pluto had a pointed orbit. Now, to clarify, when I say that Pluto has a pointed orbit, I don't mean that Pluto's orbit has a right angle anywhere in it. What I actually mean is that it is nowhere near as elliptical as the rest of the planet's orbit. Also, Pluto's orbit is slanted, and this is what that looks like compared to the other planets. Now, what's really interesting is that after Pluto was named a planet, because there was no real checklist for what made a planet, people went crazy, and astronomers all over the world started just naming everything that could possibly be considered a planet. And because of this planetary fervor, as I like to call it, and also because of the Hayden Planetarium's concerns, the International Astronomical Union, which for brevity's sake I will refer to as the IAU for the rest of this video, they decided to hold a conference and set up ground rules for what makes a planet a planet. Well, this was a very long process, and by the end of it, they came up with 3 rules that make a planet a planet. Number 1, it has to orbit the sun. Pluto's good there. Number 2, it has to have enough gravity to have a roughly spherical shape. Pluto's pretty much good there. I don't want to go into why it's not completely good there, but it's technically good there. Number 3, it has to have cleared its orbit of all foreign debris, and that's the final nail in Pluto's tiny coffin. What that means is when a planet clears its orbit, it'll smash into foreign debris, and it will engulf it if it does it that way, or if it just swings by it, the gravity from the planet will actually slingshot whatever the debris is out of its orbit. Now, the problem with Pluto is it's not big enough to do either of these things, really, for most of the debris in its field. Now, for those of you who are Plutophiles, that's not the end of Pluto. If something matches the first two characteristics, but not the third, it's considered a dwarf planet, or a Plutoid. So, Pluto is no longer the runt of the solar system. Now it's one of the largest dwarf planets. So, be happy. Also, the book isn't closed on Pluto, because technically it could smash into some of the debris in its orbit and engulf it and become bigger. But because it hasn't done that yet, it can't be considered a planet, and if it does that, it'll take, at the very least, several thousand years. But there's still hope. So to wrap up, until Pluto either swallows up more matter and to get more mass, it will not be a planet. It is a dwarf planet, and it is still a member of the icy bodies that make up the Kuiper Belt. Thank you for watching this episode of Stay Nerdy, my friends. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Like this video, favorite it, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you want to keep learning about science. If you have any questions, Facebook me or send them to my email, staynerdyMyFriends@gmail.com. Definitely send in your ideas for new shows. I love reading them all. I love having conversations with you guys. It's awesome. And as always, stay nerdy, my friends.